Hey, what's up everyone? This is Silver Slayer. Welcome back for another video. Today, I found an article. We're going to be talking about 10 reasons to invest in silver now with charts. I was just skimming through some articles. I'm curious on how other people perceive precious metals, more importantly, silver, and just, what their points are, maybe try to find some new angles, some different ideas, some different points of view that maybe I've never thought about, or maybe they just make some good points. It's refreshing to hear and share with you guys. So I found this article that was written by Jeff Clark, senior precious metals analyst of gold and silver, and he made 10 different points on why you should invest in silver now. So I'm curious to kind of dig into this. After each point, I'll kind of share my perspective, my opinion on it. I'm pretty sure it's a good article. I skimmed through it. I wanted to kind of save some of the more in-depth things to kind of throw at, kind of throw in the mix with you guys. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say as well. I think this is going to be a good video. Make sure to smash that thumbs up button if you do enjoy this type of content, or even if you stack silver at all. Support channels like this. Let's try to help spread precious metals investing to the YouTube platform, and get other people on board with us, since silver is such a great asset to invest in. So anyways, let's go into the article. The link will be in the description of the video. Is silver a good investment? Why should someone buy it? It's natural and even prudent for an investor to wonder if a particular asset is a good investment or not. That's especially true for silver, since it's such a small market and doesn't carry the same gravities as gold. But at this point in history, there are compelling reasons to add physical silver to your investment portfolio, and only one, because the price will rise. Here are the top 10 reasons why every investor should buy some silver bullion. Number one, silver is real money. I always mention this as well. Silver definitely is real money. It's been held as trade for value or currency for thousands upon thousands of years. And he says silver may not be part of our currency, but it is still money, and actually it is still technically part of our currency with, constitutional silver at face value. But he goes on to say, in fact, silver, along with gold, is the ultimate form of money because it can't be created out of thin air and thus depreciated like paper or digital forms, which is so true. Silver has intrinsic value. The value is inside of the asset or the actual coin itself. It's not just printed or told that it's worth this much by someone behind the scenes. 1 ounce of silver is the value of 1 ounce of silver, which is so, which it brings the intrinsic value behind it. And he goes on to say, and by real money, we do mean physical silver, not ETFs or certificates or futures contracts, which I've mentioned in the past as well. Those are paper investments which don't carry the same benefits you'll find in this report. I'm really glad that he goes on to differentiate the two between silver ETFs, options markets, futures contracts, etc., because physical precious metals are a completely different market. They have many benefits that go much farther beyond, ETFs and all that. Physical silver is a store of value just like gold. Here's why. Silver has no counterparty risk. If you hold physical silver, you don't need another party to make good on a contract or promise. This is not the case with stocks, bonds, or virtually any other investment where you have to have other parties, a third party person to store it, holding it for you. Even if it's a certificate where you could store you technically have the physical bullion, but they're storing it in a vault somewhere, etc. With your own physical silver, you own it. I always say, if you can't hold it, you don't own it. And physical precious metals, you own it. You are in complete control. No one else can tell you what to do with it, how to do, whatever with it, or when to sell it, or, anything. You're in complete control. Never been defaulted on. If you own physical silver, you have no default risk. Not so for almost any other investment you make. Long-term use as money. A scan of monetary history shows silver has been used in coinage for more often than gold, which is definitely true. And as Mike Maloney says in his bestseller, Guide to Investing in Silver and Gold, gold and silver have revalued themselves throughout the centuries, called on fiat paper to account for itself. Owning some physical silver provides you with a real asset that has served as money for literally thousands of years, which I already mentioned. So his second point is physical silver is a hard asset. All of the investments you own, how many can you hold in your hand? In a world of paper profits, digital trading, and currency creation, physical silver stands in contrast as one of the few assets you can carry in your own pocket wherever you go, even in another country. And that's definitely true. Gold and silver is a universal currency. Like with fiat currency, a US dollar can only be spent in America, a Canadian dollar can only be spent in Canada, etc. Gold and silver is a universally traded currency of value. So it's very beneficial on that end, where even if I took my American Eagle to China, they still see the value in that coin and it can still be sold for value. People universally see the value, and definitely industrially and technologically it's used as value and in all industries across the globe. And it can be as private as and few as confidential as you want. Physical silver is also also a tangible hedge against all forms of hacking and cybercrime. There are no erasing of silver eagle coins, for example, but that can certainly happen to a digital asset, which is definitely true. Just like cryptocurrency, some of the risks with hacking and all the Bitcoin being stolen or whatever the case is. Physical precious metals, you own it. You don't have to worry about the coins getting stolen or something happening, or if you're more of a prepper for SHTF, if everything goes offline or we go into a blackout, you still own your coins. You're not relying on power, electricity, or the government on any scale of a systematical grid to to provide or to tell you how much money you have or if you can access your money or not, which is also very important. Number three, silver is cheap. What if I said you could buy a hard asset for a 70th of the price of gold and it would protect you just as well against crisis? And that's definitely what silver is. It's actually around 90th. Gold to silver ratios at all-time highs around 90 to 1, which means it takes 90 ounces of silver to equal 1 ounce of gold. So it's definitely much more affordable. That also means that silver has much more potential because it comes out of the ground roughly 9 to 1, meaning that gold and silver are, especially how much silver and gold are used in the world for technology and all types of different industrial uses. That 90 to 1 is extremely out of whack. It's way too over exaggerated, and it definitely needs to correct back to a more balanced ratio. And 90 to 1 shows that silver is either extremely underpriced or gold is extremely overpriced. So pay attention to that, because you can usually tell with the gold to silver ratios which precious metal is the better investment at that point in time. Right now, silver definitely being that. So number four, silver is more practical for everyday small purchases. Silver isn't just cheaper to buy, but can be more practical when you need to sell. Maybe someday you don't want to sell a full ounce of gold to meet a financial need. Enter silver, since frequently comes in smaller denominations than gold. You can sell what you want or need at the time. That's definitely true. Fractional silver, even you can even take this a step further and going into fractional silver. Especially if let's say that silver does appreciate to $50 an ounce or even $100 an ounce, and you want to trade or barter with someone, trading something that costs less than an ounce. You're not going to take a chainsaw and cut your 1 ounce, coin in half. So that's where fractional silver, like constitutional silver, junk silver, even fractional rounds plays a good part, where you can piece it out and trade or barter with things that don't equal a full ounce. But even but silver is definitely the same way. Just like you have change at the store, if you want to buy a pack of gum that costs 55 cents and all you have are dollars or something, or a value, or an asset or something that's only valuable up in higher quantities or weights, then that's going to be extremely hard to barter and to sell, especially if you don't want to sell all of that product, or if you only want a certain amount of whatever you're trading for. So silver is definitely perfect for that. Number five, silver outperforms gold in bull markets. Silver as a very small market, so small in fact little money moving into and out of the industry can impact the price much greater to a degree than other assets. I actually made a video talking about this yesterday, where someone was talking about, a billionaire in precious metals was talking about silver being in the next 12 to 24 months, or actually gold as well, exploding with the recession coming, some things happening with China and the US, and how just him saying that, just him announcing that, making that statement, actually put the prices up from precious metals. So I didn't think it was as speculative as a market like cryptocurrency, but it definitely showed that when people do have confidence in it and put money into it, the markets can move, especially with silver, since it is a smaller market. But here are a couple good examples. Check out how much more silver gained than gold in the two biggest precious metal bull markets in the modern era. 1970 to 1980, gold was around 2,328%, silver was at 3,105. Gain from 2008 to 2011, 166%, and silver is at 448%. We obviously know that. 2011 was when silver reached around $50, and that was the whole era with everything happening in the economy with the scares in the stock market, Y2K, stuff like that, September 11th, all that stuff, sparks fear, and people usually turn to precious metals. So anyways, we can go to number 6. Silver inventories are falling. Governments and other institutions are traditionally held inventories of silver, but today most governments no longer hold stockpiles of the metal. In fact, only countries that have warehouses of U.S., India, and Mexico. Look what happened to these inventories since 1996. Down 73%. That's huge. I'll link this if you guys want to go over this. For the timely matter of this video, I'm going to kind of try to skim through, still get in deep, but still try to move at a pretty good pace. Number 7, industrial uses is growing, and that's definitely what I always mention. This is one of the biggest things that you can talk about. Believe it or not, you don't go one day at work without using a product that contains silver. It's definitely true. It's used in nearly every major industry, from electronics to medical applications. There's colloidal silver, to batteries to solar panels. Silver is everywhere, whether you see it or not. One of the elements, silver is indispensable metal. It's electronically conductive, thermally conductive, and reflective. Modern life, as we know it, would not exist without silver. That's definitely so true. Some of the biggest uses for silver are jewelry, 33% jewelry, silverware, religious objects. 56 is industrial, electronics, batteries, biocides, solar panels. 11% is investing in coins and bars, etc. So usually most of it only gets scrapped in this percent. So 56% of the silver is actually most likely getting lost, not to be recovered, where a larger percent of gold is actually used for bars, coins, jewelry, and stuff. So when it's in these industrial objects like batteries, technologies, laptops, cell phones, it's not being scrapped as much. So a lot of silver is getting lost more than the rate of gold. So silver is used in a wide number of industrial products, and many of those are growing. Cell phones, self-heating windshields, Volkswagen. Silver Institute estimates silver photovoltaic cells. I've made a video about that. Another common industrial use for silver is the production of ethylene oxide. There's a lot more examples, but like the bottom line is, due to the unique characteristics, the industrial uses for silver continue to expand. So number 8, the supply is about to fall. You might be aware silver price crashed after peaking in 2011. Over the last 5 years, it fell a whopping 72%. As a result, miners had to scramble and cut costs to turn profit. I've made videos about this as well. Depending how much they dig out the ground, or the miners, drive to actually dig it out the ground to make profit, is definitely a huge part of silver's market, and how much is going to be sold or demanded, supply and demand. So it's definitely something to think about, to look at as well. So interesting charts. You guys can check these out. Silver supply has fallen 3 consecutive years, the first time since 1991 to 93. Number 9, the world demand is growing. Global demand for silver is growing. Virtually all major government mints have seen record levels of sales, with most already operating at peak production. Surging demand is nowhere more evident than China and India. So they're just basically saying the demand is growing. So low supply, high demand, especially with the miners not making as much profit. Once you see that, it usually shoots the price up. Low supply, high demand, what does that do? Shoots the price up. So number 10, the gold-silver ratio favors silver. This is already what I kind of mentioned in this video. The average is around 60 to 61 to 1, and right now we're seeing ratios around 90 to 1. Historical charts around 47 to 1, 20th century, and then it hit about 61 to 1, and now we're seeing around 90 to 1, and these are actually crazy ratios, as you can see right here. The ratio usually should be around 60, which is still pretty high if you think about coming out the ground 9 to 1, and also all the benefits. But 90 to 1 definitely means that gold either needs to decrease in price or silver needs to increase in price for those ratios to even back out, and that's definitely something that people don't really think about as much. You can also use the gold to silver ratio to either earn free gold or free silver by selling gold when the ratios is lower, or selling silver when the ratio is higher. So those are some things to think about as well. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new. This was Silver Slayer, and these were the 10 reasons you should invest in silver now. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.